A lot of people come to me and say like, wow, I never would have guessed that you have depression. You don't look like you're mentally ill. It's like, what do you think people with mental illness look like? They look like your dad or your friend or your cousin or anyone that you might meet on any given day. It's almost like you just have to assume that everyone might be struggling. So I've been working at the bank for coming on to 9 years now, largely in talent development, which is like our training team in the organization. I have generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, something called complex post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm also as colorblind as they come. Complex post-traumatic stress disorder is different in that rather than being one single event, it's actually like a series of ongoing traumas, usually over the course of the first 15 years of one's life. My CPTSD really manifests in a handful of ways, like difficulty with my emotion regulation, how I relate to my feelings and my thoughts even, and also what are called like disruptions in consciousness. So sometimes I have like really brutal flashbacks to traumatic events that might happen at really any point. The thing with mental illness is like every day could be totally different. On a good day, I might forget that I'm having a hard time with anything at all, but on a bad day, it can absolutely impact every conceivable facet of my life. I need patience. I need compassion. When I was growing up, struggling with all kinds of undiagnosed illnesses, like I felt alone and isolated, and I didn't think anyone would ever understand me. I didn't feel like I could talk to anyone about it. I didn't feel normal. I didn't see people struggling with what I was struggling with, and it would have made like such a significant impact on my well-being and my development if there were other people who I knew understood. There's a lot of stigma around mental health. There's often this notion that, someone with mental illness is weak or unsafe to be around or unhinged or potentially dangerous. And I feel like a lot of those ideas are really harmful. Having this feeling of people judging you for just like the way that your brain works is really challenging. We have to be aware of the kinds of impacts we can have on people around us. A lot of folks, when they're talking about their finances, are probably going to be a little sensitive, a little stressed out, a little anxious, a little prone to being triggered. And it's like we need to ensure that we're treating those sensitive matters delicately. And I think if we just had more people who had a baseline understanding of like what some of the day-to-day impacts of depression and anxiety and other kinds of mental illnesses could be, we'd be a lot better equipped to show up for other people, whether that's your clients or your team members.